with College SportsCast, and we are presented by the Fanboys. Welcome in, guys. It's Brad with College SportsCast. We are doing our week wrap-up show, and we got a special one today. The NCAA tournament is in full effect. Right now, we have UK and Kansas State playing on CBS. It is just about to begin the second half, I believe, and it's 26-29. Kansas State is ahead at halftime. And let's see. I'm trying to read these messages by Jay.
He's just saying how much better I am than you.
Yeah. Jay always says that. Jay always says that. All right, so we have John Roberts on with us, and we're College SportsCast. It's a big day. We're going to talk NCAA tournament, of course. We're going to kind of elaborate here on Kentucky and Kansas State for a little while, and then we'll move on to all the matchups and stuff that has happened over the last few days, then we'll get into some baseball stuff with John and do some series stuff that we talked about on Thursday and stuff. And we're going to get into all things college sports. So, John, are you watching the Kentucky-Kansas State game?
No, because I got the ESPN app going, and I'm watching 4 different games, but I can't watch the Kentucky game because it's on CBS.
Right.
So, I had it on my computer right here, but I'm pretty certain that the video feed goes away when I start watching or when I start looking at the doing our stuff.
I found a way to get around that because I watch stuff off ESPN app as well,
right?
And I have Sling TV, and I watch stuff off of the ESPN app. And so I have that problem with CBS and stuff as well, but I found a way to get around that. So it's you can't do it on a TV. It has to be a mobile app. You have to have a tablet or a phone or something like that. But you can download the March Madness Live app, and you can watch the CBS games.
Well, yeah, I mean that I have that. That's something I've been doing. It's what I'm trying to do right now.
You just can't get it on your screen where you're doing 4 at a time.
Well, yeah, that's true. No, what I'm about to do is try to get it where I can put it on the screen while at the exact same time that. Oh shoot, I can't do it. I can't get it off of this. Darn.
So Kansas and Kansas State, and Kentucky are playing currently as we speak. The second half is about to begin. I'm actually hoping this game will be over around the time that we're ending up our show here today, and we'll kind of bring you some updates and talk about the game as it goes along. Kentucky started out pretty good, built a 8-point lead early on, 15-7. Of course, Kentucky goes cold as ice in games, and that's been kind of their mantra this year, and are now down 29-26 at halftime. Sloppy play. I mean,
I don't think they go as cold as Auburn does.
Oh my God, it's so. I don't know, man. I think Kentucky can hold their own with that going. Reeves, who's been averaging 20 almost 23 points a game over the last 5 or 6 games, is 0 for 9, 0 for 5 at halftime, 0 points. Excuse me.
Are you guys hitting free throws?
I mean, I haven't checked the free throw thing. Yes, Auburn yesterday was like clunking everything. Yes, I get it.
They were bad.
They were. I will give you that. Kentucky's still in this game. If they can hit some damn shots, I think Kentucky has the better players. This Norvell guy, 5'8", is pretty special. I will say that. You know, first half, it's quick as lightning, and he reminds me of some other small players like Damon Stoudemire and a few guys. You know, I mean, he's a good ball player, and I like to watch the guy. I don't want him to win today. I'm a Kentucky fan, so but I think overall Kentucky has the better players. You know, we played the last several minutes without Wallace. Cason Wallace was on the bench, and we are going down the lane. Kentucky's going down the lane with some sloppy cross-court passes that a second grader can read. I mean, if you know anything about basketball, they come down the lane and then they turn the head and they just stare them down and then go. I mean, it's just like, I mean, golly. I was about 30 minutes ago, I screamed at one of them. I was literally like, oh my God, how stupid are you? It was just terrible, an absolute terrible pass. And maybe they can't have 11 turnovers, and Antonio Reeves cannot go scoreless. He cannot go 0 for 9 in the second half. I mean, if he can hit 5 or 6 shots in the second half, Kentucky have a chance to win this game. Believe it or not, Kentucky was actually favored. Vegas had Kentucky favored in this game by 3.
Okay.
Isn't that a little weird to you?
No.
Kansas State has been ranked in the top 10 pretty much all season. Kentucky dropped out of the top 25 for most of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky's 22-11. Kansas State finished third in the mighty Big 12.
Yeah, but how do they? Okay, so how does Vegas make money? Getting you to bet, right?
Yeah.
So if they sit there and say, "Well, Kentucky's favored," they're getting you to bet.
Yes, it ought. Well, I mean, no, it ought to like capitalize on Kansas State fans. They're the ones that ought to be betting.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that
not Kentucky fans.
Well, but here we go. They're getting the casual fan that hasn't watched any of the season, or that doesn't know anything about it, that does one of these brackets, or that people do, just going in and making bets. That's who they're going after.
I don't know. I didn't understand the whole line. I couldn't believe when I seen it this morning that Kentucky was actually favored by 3. Actually, early this morning when I first looked at it, it was 3.5, and then closer towards the game, it was 3. But still, I don't know what it wound up being at tip, but I don't know how in the world. I mean, Kentucky, they just cannot score, and it just kills me as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And you ought to know, you're an Auburn fan. Auburn has the same issues. Auburn got their butts kicked in the second half yesterday, so we'll kind of get to that. Led Houston,
led by
the number one team, a number one seed,
Yes.
The second number one seed, led by 10 at halftime.
Correct. Led by 10 at half.
And then got beat by 17
Correct.
in the second half.
Right.
I mean, the end game got beat 27 in the second half.
Well, they only hit two field goals in the second half.
It's unbelievable. How is that possible?
And then they missed 17 free throws overall. So that's usually
I'm going to be watching the game. I had the game on.
Games right there.
The game just started. Second half just started.
Kentucky's down by 1.
Kentucky's down by 1. Cason Wallace just and won and is going to the line. Stole the ball, actually, went down, drew the foul, hit the bucket. Now is going to go to the line so he can tie this game at 31 all if he hits the free throw.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm going to be watching this game. We will go on and talk about some other stuff, but I will come back and give you some updates and tell you some things that's going on in this game, because if you're part of the Big Blue Nation, this is our time of the year. We've always looked forward to March Madness, and this is what we look forward to. Cason Wallace did hit the free throw. It is 31 all.
Yep. That is what happened there. And now if you are paying attention to any other games going on around the country, we have UAB in their second round in the NIT whipping up on Morehead State 51-32. Auburn.
Good. I'm glad to see UAB winning.
Auburn in game 3 of their series with Arkansas is losing 5-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Oklahoma is trailing TCU in the bottom of the 4th, 2-0, and LSU has a 5-4 lead at Texas A&M. That is what I can see on my TV right now.
Well, so on the tournament, we're not even to the Sweet 16, and number one seeds are already going down like flies, it seems like. Yep. 2 of the top 4 seeds have already lost, and we're round of 32, second day, so we're not even to the Sweet 16 yet. Purdue, of course, gets knocked off in the first round by Fairleigh Dickinson, okay, who, by the way, should not even have been in the tournament.
Right.
Because they are the team that got in after they lost the championship conference game to Merrimack, who won the regular season and the conference tournament and were disqualified because of transition rules up to D1 basketball.
So they were coming up to D1, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that this transition rule is stupid because they're coming up. They're a small school that have joined a bigger conference, right? Because
division.
D1, bigger division, but which means
everything is
bigger.
This is Merrimack's 4th year as a D1 school, not their first or second. This is their 4th year as a D1 school, and the NCAA says that if you are a D2 team, you have to go all the way to your 5th year before you're eligible.
Now, so what are the recruiting rules going from D2 to D1? Because if they're allowed to recruit more than what a normal D1 is to catch up, then that's the only reason why. Otherwise, this is stupid.
I'm not sure what the rules are when it comes to that. But
it's a dumb rule.
The reason why I wanted to bring this up is Fairleigh Dickinson shouldn't even be in this tournament, and they beat Purdue.
Yep.
I made a statement on Twitter that Fairleigh Dickinson is the best 69th NCAA tournament team that's ever been.
You're not wrong.
They're the best.
You're not wrong.
69th NCAA tournament team. And the reason why it's 69th is because there's 68 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, now there are.
Well, yes. And so they're the best 69th team that's ever been, Fairleigh Dickinson.
Because no other 69 team has ever beaten in a number one seed.
Right. I mean, so anyways, now today, Fairleigh Dickinson is going to get to play FAU, Florida Atlantic, who has had a really great year and been in near the top 20 of the net rankings all season long.
Right.
The last half of the season, they were in the AP polls, and they beat Memphis in an 8-9 seed the other day, and now they get to play Fairleigh Dickinson instead of Purdue. So one of those two schools is going to be in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it?
It's exciting, actually. It's exciting, actually, that that schools like that get to be in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And the other number one seed that went down yesterday was Kansas, the defending national champs.
Yeah. So somehow it was Rick Barnes in Tennessee that did it.
No,
that was Duke. They beat
No,
Duke.
that was Duke. So that was the other big win yesterday. But it was Arkansas and Musselman. It wasn't SEC team. It was Arkansas and Eric Musselman, who got his Arkansas Razorbacks playing like I have been saying they were capable of all year, to be quite honest. Matter of fact, on this show, I think it was Thursday night, I said that if Arkansas plays well, they would have a shot. Now, did I pick Arkansas? I didn't pick Arkansas, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that I picked Arkansas to beat Kansas because I didn't. But I have been saying all year long that this Arkansas team was dangerous and that if they could ever put it together, they could make a run like this. And I even said, I think it was the last show, I even said that I would give them a shot to beat Kansas if they get there. They had to beat Illinois, which they did, blah, blah, blah. The game wasn't, when we were on the other night, the game wasn't lined up yet.
Yeah.
So, but I did say they have a shot to do that. So, I'm not terribly shocked that Arkansas would play well enough to beat Kansas. I thought Kansas looked vulnerable a few times this year when they were playing quality opponents. I mean, they've gotten beat by Texas by 20 or almost 20 twice. They've gotten beat by Kansas State by about 20 once. Somebody else beat them earlier in the year. That was, they've lost 3 or 4 games that are close to 20 points. Now they were good teams, quality teams. I mean, I'm not saying Kansas lost to terrible teams. They lost to good teams, but I think Arkansas is a good team. So that's why I said I thought Arkansas would have a shot if they can play that way.
Yeah.
I kind of was surprised. Talking about upsets, I do have upsets down there. The Duke Tennessee game, the one you mentioned, I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest with you. What did you think about it? I was a little surprised. I actually picked Duke. Tennessee has not finished the season well, and they lost Ziegler. their point guard, and I just thought that would hurt them too much in the NCAA tournament. I did pick Tennessee to win against Louisiana, the opening round game, but
Right.
I had them losing to Duke. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I watched that game yesterday. They just manhandled Duke. That's how it happened.
Yeah, so I had Duke winning in that game as well, and I had Tennessee, getting by in their first game, and then had Duke winning in that particular game to go to the Sweet 16, in which I believe I had.
That's where I had.
Playing. Yeah, what?
That's where I had Purdue going down. I actually had Duke going out to the Elite Eight.
Correct. I had Duke beating Purdue, and then I had Arizona beating Duke, which is great, and then Arizona losing in the Final Four. So my bracket started getting unraveled just in day one.
Yeah, on that side. Well, that bracket,
that's
a whole lot of people, I think, can say
region.
that bracket, on day one kind of hurt them.
Right. So
I was lucky enough that I picked Marquette in that bracket, so to the Final Four. So
right.
mine is still alive as we're speaking right now.
Right.
They play a little later. But I did have Duke to the Elite Eight in that bracket, and I did not have Tennessee. Tennessee looked more like the team that was playing in December, first part of January yesterday. They are a very tough physical team.
Right.
And Duke had a lot of freshmen, first-year coach, a lot of freshmen that they were playing. And to be honest with you, Tennessee has several upperclassmen and kids that have been there for a while, and they are very physical. I made some jokes yesterday, it's like a 10-round fight, that Duke needed a cut man and all kinds of stuff on Twitter. I was kind of in a chat and was making some jokes with some guys. I even made a post yesterday at halftime where there was a little kid in boxing gloves. I said that Duke was having a warm up at halftime. But anyway, it worked out. I mean, Tennessee beat them, and
yes,
it kind of flip-flopped. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have said in January that Tennessee was going to match up with Duke and beat them in the NCAA tournament, everybody would have said, yeah, that sounds about right.
Right.
March 1st, if you would have asked everybody that, if Duke and Tennessee match up, I think most people would have said Duke was going to win.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Climbed in the rankings after, I guess, the first game today. Yeah. That's good. I was like 7-point-something million down.
I haven't even looked at the brackets yet so far.
My percentage is 70% right now.
It's just one game finished so far. So
right, but I went from being at the end of yesterday being like 62% correct or whatever, and ranked 7-point-something millionth out of everybody that did the brackets with 330 points. I am now ranked 6 million.
Hey, I'll look at mine, and by the time we're done,
that's about all I can tell you.
Yeah, I'll look at mine. I still, in one of my brackets, I still have all 4 of my Final Four teams, and the other one I have 3 of my Final Four teams. I did 2.
I only have 2.
I did 2. So
no. I only have 1 bracket, and I have only 2 Final Four teams.
Right. In one of my brackets, I still have all 4. In one of them, I have 3.
The potential of one of my Final Four teams could go down today.
So earlier today, Xavier and Sean Miller went and beat his alma mater, actually, Pitt, in pretty handily. They were up 20 in the second half. Pitt did make a run and cut it to like 10 or 11. I think the game was about 11 to end the game, something like that. But Xavier looked really good. They played about 4 ball handlers and 4 guards, a lot of it today. And Xavier looked really well. Sean Miller, in his first year back with Xavier, has brought them back to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017, I believe. And that might have been – no, it probably wasn't when he was there. I'd say he's been –
Sean Miller?
Yeah, he was at Xavier before he went to Arizona, but he was probably at Arizona longer than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Been a while since he'd been in Xavier. So
yeah, it probably has been.
But yeah.
All right, so Kentucky and Kansas State are tied 39-all, 14 and a half minutes
they came
to go.
back.
It's 39-all.
Yeah, it was 39 to something where Kentucky was winning.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Auburn just hit one to the wall. This is the second or third time they've hit one to the wall. And the wind, I'm trying to think of which direction the wind was blowing the last couple of days. I thought it was blowing out to left, but this just looks like it would have been blowing to across from left to right. And I don't know if that's actually true or not, but they're hitting it all the way to the wall in left, and the left fielder had his back to the wall, took one step in, caught the ball. I was like, dadgum. So, yep, that was a baseball update right there.
All right, so he's watching the Auburn baseball game. He's
I've got multiple games going. This is just one of them.
Right. I know. I know.
Trying to keep up with Drew England's Oklahoma team, so I was watching that one as well, and then I had LSU and A&M along with the UAB NIT game. So that's what I was looking at.
41 on Kentucky Kansas State game. 13 minutes to go.
Yeah. Well,
they can't. It's neck and neck. Can't pull away either team, looks like.
Right. Yeah. And I've had it going a little bit while you were if I take you off the screen, I start watching it. So I could do that.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able to tell if there's anybody that's texting into the show, or if we're got any questions. That way I wouldn't be able to see any of it if I just sit there and watch the game.
So today's games, the Big 12 and the Big East have several games. So Kansas State's Big 12, the Kentucky game, and then they have 2 more tonight. And the Big East has 4. Xavier has already won. That's one of them. UConn plays, Marquette plays, and help me out here. Who's the other one?
Who's the other?
Creighton. And Creighton plays tonight. That's the Big East games that play tonight. They have 4 chances to get to the Sweet 16. That's what I'm trying to bring up. So yesterday the SEC has 3 teams out of the first 8 that are into the Sweet 16. Today, Xavier won, so the Big East does have 1 into the Sweet 16 so far. And then, of course, this Kentucky and Kansas State game is going on, and it's either going to be 4 for the SEC or 2 for the Big 12 that when this game finishes. And then there are 6 more spots that's available into the Sweet 16. Does the ACC get a team in? They've only got 1 chance left. Miami plays UConn today. Does Miami does Miami beat UConn? If not, the ACC will be shut out. into the Sweet 16. They will have no teams in the Sweet 16. The Big Ten, they have two chances today. Michigan State plays Marquette, and Indiana plays later as well. I will have to trying to think who Indiana plays.
Indiana plays Miami.
Indiana and Miami. So who's UConn play then?
Who does UConn play?
They play later. I was thinking it was UConn and Miami. Is it Indiana and Miami?
It's Indiana and Miami.
Okay.
Did UConn win?
Yes. UConn plays.
Yes, they play St. Mary's.
Okay.
For the right to play Arkansas.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so I had those 2 4 seeds mixed up. So Indiana plays Miami, and Michigan State plays Marquette, the 2 Big Ten teams that are left.
Correct.
That's the only.
There's another Big Ten team. No, there isn't. Never mind.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's it on the Big Ten. You got 2 Big Ten teams left that have a shot. If they don't win, then the Big Ten will be shut out.
Ugh.
So
how terrible will that be?
So that would be the ACC. If you know what I mean, like so that would be the ACC and the Big Ten possibly being shut out.
Yeah, but okay.
Of the Sweet 16, that's pretty big, actually.
Yeah, being shut out of the Sweet 16. Yes, that would be pretty big because
for both of those power conferences. Now,
yeah,
I don't think it'll happen because Miami and Indiana play each other. So one of the 2
one will be shut out and the other one won't. But here's or one can be shut out and the other one won't be shut out. Right. But here's the deal with that. If it's Indiana that wins and they get in, we already knew that the ACC wasn't great. So are you shocked if
No, I'm not shocked at the ACC. I thought Duke. I thought they would get.
Duke had the shot. If you're going to do
I thought Duke would definitely get into the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
and I really thought that Miami and Virginia both had a shot.
Right.
And they might get 2 teams in. You know what I mean?
But then with the Big Ten, I think it'd be more of a shock if the Big Ten.
It is the Big Ten. If they get shut out, that's a pretty big. I mean, all year long, everybody's talking about how many teams
with the SEC that already has
3
some teams in there, right?
SEC has 3 in
with the potential to get 4.
Right. If Kentucky wins, it'll be 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And you sit there and the Big Ten always wants to,
Well, in the Big Ten, metrics and rankings and stuff all this year has been higher than the SEC.
Right. But what I'm saying is that they always like to compare themselves to the SEC.
Brag.
Whether it's in football or it's in basketball. Of course, they can always beat us in hockey. We don't have any sanctioned NCAA hockey teams.
Let me just say the shooting in this game is terrible.
For both or for just
3-point shooting, Kentucky is 2 of 12.
Okay. And
Kansas State is 1 of 15.
Ugh. So you're looking at 3 of 27. That's 1 of 9. That is shooting 111. If you want to know the percentage, that is 111. You're shooting 111. That's under the Mendoza line.
I mean, the shooting is terrible.
Yes. Well, that's quick math for you right there.
I'm just saying, 2 of 12 and 1 of 15.
Yeah.
That's the 3-point shooting in this game.
Like I said, 3 of 27, which is 1 of 9, which is 111. Shooting 111. Never good.
No, it's not. No, that's definitely not good.
Or instead of saying 111 because I'm giving you batting average, it's
Right.
11.1%.
It's 11.1%. Yeah.
It's 11.1%.
Oh, here's another one. Missed. Wide
I'm
open,
behind
too.
you. I'm behind you right now because I've got Oscar Sheway shooting free throws.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, you're about 20 seconds behind or something then. Yeah.
yeah, he's
I
shooting free
mean,
throws.
Kentucky just shot a wide open three.
That right there was a
Miss.
wide open free throw that he missed.
Yeah, this is true. All right, so we're talking about FDU and FAU. I did want to put up on the screen, since we were talking about them, it is the Northeast Conference versus the CUSA. The CUSA was talking about UAB earlier, playing in the NIT. Florida Atlantic plays in that conference.
Second place team in that conference.
Yeah, North Texas and UAB swapped second place teams in regular season and conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, that conference, actually 4 of those teams out of that conference has won postseason games.
Right.
Charlotte won their first postseason game. FAU won their game. North Texas won their first postseason game, and FAU.
Wow. So Missouri took the series from Tennessee.
Yes. Wow, that's actually pretty astonishing. Actually, that is really.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I know. Hey, they beat them 9-1 on their Friday starter.
They did.
9-1.
That's nuts.
Missouri did on Friday night. Talking about baseball for a second.
Yeah, we're going to bounce back and forth.
Yeah. Missouri beat Tennessee, who top 2 or 3 team all year. I mean, that's what people think they are, probably.
I mean, they're good. Yes. I wouldn't. I mean, look, they're good. They're going to be ranked a top team like that. I would say that they're probably more like they're a top 5, maybe top 10 type team. But yeah, they just got series taken from them from Missouri, who is currently unranked. So, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's bad.
All right, so we're going to get into a few of these games that are coming up later tonight.
Ooh, later tonight. What we got?
Yeah, these are the other. There's 6 more games after the Kentucky-Kansas State game finishes here. So the next game that's going to be played is the Michigan State-Marquette game. It's on CBS right after this game. About 20 minutes after this game will be played.
Right.
It'll come on. That is a 2 versus a 7.
Yeah.
And then at 5:10 Central Time on TNT, you have St. Mary's versus UConn. At 6:10, these are all Central Times. It'll be Creighton versus Baylor. I'm actually looking forward to that game. I think that could be a really good game to watch, Creighton versus Baylor, and that is on TBS. And then 6:45 is the FDU FAU game. It comes on True TV. 7:40 is TNT. On TNT is Miami versus Indiana, which I believe should be a good game as well. And then we wrap up the day with TCU versus Gonzaga. That's a 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on TBS at 8:40 is what time it is scheduled. So those are the matchups for the rest of the night. Tonight's action. You have all of those are You got 3-6 going on right now. You got 2-7. You got 4-5. You got 3-6. You got 4-5, and you got 3-6. The only game out of that's not the proper matchup, the way it should go, is the FDU FAU game.
Everything else is chalk.
Yep, everything else is chalk
Mm-hmm.
on the brackets. Every other game tonight is chalk. Even the one that's playing now. The first game wasn't because Pitt won. It was a 3-11.
Right.
So you had two games today. You had a 3-11, and then the FAU FDU game is a 9-16 second round game, which doesn't happen, by the way. This is actually, I believe I will have to look.
Wait, so you're saying
I think this is the first time ever that a 9 and a 16 is matched up in the NCAA.
So you're saying
bracket.
this is the 16-9 game?
Yeah.
16-9? Say it fast. 16-9.
69.
69.
Yeah. That's what it is, man. I ain't kidding.
That's what it is.
And I believe that's the first time ever because it's only happened twice. And I think the first time it was a 16-8 matchup.
Oh, 68.
So I think this is a 16-9 matchup, and it's the first time that's ever happened. Whew. I'm telling you, the shooting in this game is horrible. It's 51-50, by the way. Kentucky cannot buy a basket.
So Kansas State is winning because I have 50-49 right now.
Yes, Kansas State is winning 51-50.
That means that there's their bucket. Well, there you go.
I can't believe, because I'm doing mine off of the internet and everything. I can't believe mine's ahead of yours.
I can believe it because are you doing it on a different device or on the same thing you're watching, like you're doing the podcast off of?
A different device.
See, I'm doing it off the same thing. I'm watching it on the computer.
Oh.
So, that Kansas player hurt his head.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an injury timeout.
Geeson.
Yeah, there's an injury timeout that's going on right now.
Yep. Well,
all right, so the Big East will have some chances tonight. They could get 4 teams in. The Big 12 can get 4 teams in if they all win today. Kansas got knocked out. Texas won, so there's 1 team in before the day started. And then they have Kansas State, who is playing right now. They have Baylor that plays Creighton. And they have TCU that ends the night and plays Gonzaga. So, the Big 12 could get 4 in as well. The SEC has a chance to get 4 if Kentucky wins. And the Big East has 4 games today, so they have 4 chances to get their teams in. And those would be the top conferences with the amount of teams in the Sweet 16. There's no other conference that could have more than that. Those are the ones that that could have the most, depending on the outcome of this Kentucky-Kansas State game. If Kentucky wins, then the SEC would wrap up having more than they would, and would at least wrap up being tied with the most amount in, because the Big East could get 4 in later.
Right.
If they win all of them.
Yep.
That's kind of the rankings. Those are all big things when you're talking about, college basketball. The SEC has done well so far. They got in 8 teams. Mississippi State was the only team. No, I said that wrong. I was fixing to say Mississippi State was the only team that got knocked off in the first round, but there was another one.
No, because everybody won their first round game.
There wasn't.
Everybody got beat in the second round.
I was trying to think. No, yeah, Mississippi State was the only team that lost in the first round, right?
No. Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. I was thinking there was two. Texas A&M laid an egg
Those maroon
somehow.
teams. Those maroon
Yeah,
teams.
yeah. Texas A&M, who was the
Mississippi State.
second-ranked team.
Mississippi State won their first round, did they not? Or did they lose?
No, they lost to
Okay.
Pitt.
That's right. They lost to Pitt. Okay.
I think it was Pitt.
Yes, it would have been Pitt.
Yeah, it was Pitt. So anyway, so they got 8 teams in. They went 6-2 in the first round.
Correct.
And then yesterday they went 3-2. They did lose 2 games yesterday. They had 5 chances yesterday to get teams in. But Auburn lost to Houston, which was a 9 versus a 1.
9-1.
Right, which is, I mean, honestly, if you're going to lose a game, that's a game you probably should lose.
Correct.
9 versus 1.
But then the SEC did have a victory over a 1 with an 8-1.
8 versus 1. Yes,
right.
Arkansas beat Kansas with an 8 versus 1, which is a big deal.
If Auburn was an 8, then that might have been that they would have had a shooter on their team. And
maybe so.
Maybe hitting more free throws and
that 8-9 made a huge difference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, it's just
that 8-9 made a huge difference. I know. I mean, it was right there. You can't deny it.
Just need a shooter. That's all you need. Maybe you put Pat Bradley out there, the Arkansas shooter.
Yeah. Shooter.
That's right.
Ooh, that was a good block. Sorry. Chris Livingston had a nice looking block.
Did you block somebody on Twitter? Was that what it was?
That was a nice looking block.
Wow.
All right. So now it's 52-51. Good block. Kentucky's got the ball back, but can they hit a shot?
No.
Oh,
maybe.
Unbelievable. Anything from outside, they just can't hit. I mean, they really can't. Now, they're getting some putbacks and rebounds and stuff like that and scoring some points that way, but they sure can't hit nothing from the outside. All right, 54-54. There is 6 minutes to go. Kentucky has the ball.
So you're telling me that there was a 3 and a 2?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm telling you.
Well,
Kansas State hit the 3. It wasn't Kentucky.
I know that. I can deduct it by looking at the score I'm looking at. Oh my God.
Y'all going to see me get a little. I'm going to try not to say something that I probably shouldn't say.
You're going to say a lot of things that you shouldn't say
when this ends, because I get a little worked up on this stuff. So I'm just going to warn y'all.
Yeah,
before it happens.
You should. So anyway, back to what we were discussing. Instead of watching Kentucky do things that make Brad get all worked up and animated.
What was we talking about? I done forgot.
Oh, the late games, stuff like that. I mean, we can.
And then I was talking about the amount of teams that each conference can get in. I was talking about that.
Right. Correct. So,
all right, I'm going to take a peek because I know that I did win the Xavier game earlier on my bracket challenge stuff.
Yes. So we have a few matchups that we know are going to be in the Sweet 16. Currently, we have Alabama versus San Diego State, and we should have another one already. Nope. Xavier and Texas. So
yeah, the Xavier-Texas matchup ought to be a really good matchup in the Sweet 16, actually. So they are both guard-heavy oriented teams. And, like, they should run circles around each other. I mean, it really should be a fun matchup to watch between Xavier and Texas.
Yep.
All right, so I'm trying to go back and look at some of these brackets.
I guess UAB has to travel on their next game.
So my brackets are not looking. I mean, yesterday started out horrible.
Right.
I did wind up with, Alabama won and a few games last night. I did wind up with.
Right.
But golly, Houston won. I did have Houston. I had Alabama.
You had Kansas probably.
I did have Kansas, but I had Kansas losing in the next round in one of my brackets.
Yeah.
I had UCLA. I got that game last night.
Yep. So UCLA will get the winner of Gonzaga TCU. Arkansas will get the winner of the St. Mary's UConn. We already know the Xavier Texas. Houston will get the winner of the Miami Indiana. Kentucky, the winner of Kentucky and Kansas State will play the winner of Michigan State and Marquette. Right. Tennessee gets the winner of the FDU FAU. Princeton gets the winner. 15-seeded Princeton gets the winner of the Baylor matchup later tonight.
Baylor and Creighton.
Yep. And then Alabama will play San Diego State. Correct. Yep. There we go.
I think that's going to be a tough game for San Diego State. Alabama's got a really good team, and I have picked them actually – I actually picked them to be the winner in my bracket, actually, Alabama. And, I don't know that they will, but if I had to pick one team, and I did, so, that's who I was going to pick. But San Diego State won't be a pushover, but I think it's going to be an upscale for them, on the teams that
I'd like to
play.
see how they physically, because they manhandle teams physically, and they are bruisers. The
San Diego
State, yes.
Yeah.
And I want to see how they do against Bama doing that.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see one, how the game is called when you get a team that's a bruiser team like that,
right,
going against, a bigger school. And I just want to see what that looks like. Who's going to be getting the calls, because in San Diego, if they start calling games or start making these calls against San Diego State, then Alabama's going to cakewalk in because they'll be on foul trouble. But I'd love to see kind of how that works with an older squad like San Diego State and a bruising squad like San Diego State.
I mean, it would definitely be interesting. I think it's going to be a game that, if I have to say how I think it's going to go, I think it'll be a tight game for at least half, maybe 2/3 of the game. And I think the athleticism will win out towards the end. Would be how I think it will go, but that's kind of the same way that I thought the Duke-Tennessee game would go yesterday, because Tennessee is a bruiser team and Duke is the athletic team, and I kind of thought the athletic team would win out in the end, and that's just not how it went down yesterday. Tennessee just manhandled them, the entire game, and that's how Tennessee beat Duke yesterday.
Right.
So, I mean, can it happen the other way around? It could, and we'll see. That's how San Diego State plays. So you are right about that.
Yep.
And like I said, the other matchup that we already know is Xavier and Texas.
Right.
And that ought to be a thriller of a matchup, honestly. I was watching them against Pitt today, and they have 4 main ball handlers that are just, I mean, they're the ones that can break you down, make you fall, you know what I mean? Like on you, in Texas, that they're like a 3 guard. They have Marcus Carr and a couple of guards that are just, they're guard oriented as well for the most part. And, it ought to be a heck of a matchup between those two in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
This game's coming down to the wire, guys. There's 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Kentucky is ahead 60-59. Kansas State is going to the free throw line, it looks like. Now, they called a foul here that I don't have the sound up, so
Right.
but it did look a little phantom to me. But they're going to the line. Now they've got a chance to take the lead.
A little update in baseball here. Arkansas still leads Auburn 5-0. Oklahoma has come back to tie it up. They have scored a couple of runs, but they are still trailing TCU 3-2. I believe LSU has a 6-4 lead over Texas A&M, and I just swapped it over to the South Carolina-Georgia game, and I believe South Carolina has a 10-0 lead. I think that's what it looks like, 10-0 over Georgia. Must be before the 7th inning, otherwise that game will end. UAB did finish off Morehead State to win in their NIT matchup. So UAB, I believe that means they have gone to the Final Four in the NIT. Yeah. So Georgia's on the verge of getting swept.
I think that means, let's see, they'll be in the 8.
That's the Elite 8?
I think that means 8. Because you got 32, 16, and then 8. You got to win 3 games to get to the Final Four.
Okay. So they were only showing half the bracket then. Yep. Okay.
They hadn't hit them all day long. They've sunk 2 3-pointers, and now they're up 5. Kentucky's fixing to go down. They hadn't hit 3-pointers all day long. And Kentucky still can't hit a nothing.
I just saw the first one.
No matter what happens here, guys, I'm going to enjoy this March Madness with you guys. I can tell you that.
I don't know, man. You get a little angry.
Oh, I do. I do. I'm not even. They hadn't hit them. They were 1 of 15. I just talked about them being 1 of 15 from the 3-point line, and then they swish 2 3-pointers when the game's on the line, and we can't hit nothing.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not it. Still waiting on the second one to get.
I do want to mention Kentucky baseball while it's in a timeout. So Kentucky baseball swept Mississippi State at home this weekend.
They did. They swept them pretty good.
So, pretty good opening SEC series and win for them to sweep Mississippi State. Mississippi State is not off to the greatest start this year. I think they're definitely in the bottom 4 or 5 teams probably of the SEC. More than likely, I would think so.
Right.
But at the same time, 2 years ago, they just won a title, and they still have some hopes and think that they're maybe a little better than what they are. And they didn't think they were going to come into Kentucky and get swept. I'm sure of it.
Right. And actually, the teams that won the title the last 2 years, both Mississippi schools, got swept this weekend because Ole Miss was swept by Vanderbilt as well. And they are the defending national champions.
Right.
So
I knew Vandy beat them twice, so they beat them today too.
Oh, they played Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, that's right. They did play Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure they beat them today too. They beat them in their minds as well.
You think so?
It's a long bus ride back when you lose.
So you looked it up earlier. Who does Kentucky? They play Alabama next weekend.
Kentucky is at Alabama next weekend, and then the week after that they will travel, or they maybe I think they're at home to Missouri.
A home, yeah, to Missouri.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So if they could get a couple of series wins here, Kentucky might have a shot at,
come to Birmingham.
Yeah.
Get a shot at Birmingham.
How many teams make it
to Birmingham?
To the SEC?
I believe it's 10. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 10. It 10? Was 8 out of 12.
Before they added
the
Texas
to make it 14. Yeah. And then so I think on Tuesday they play 2 play-in games, so I want to say that it's 10 teams. And then they do the 18 tournament starting Wednesday, where it's the knockout rounds. So, or really, it's not knockout; it's a double.
So, is it just one play-in game?
No. It would be 2 play-in games. There's 2 games that are played on.
But I mean, it's just one. You get one chance. You got to win that game to get in.
You got to win that game because the loser goes home on Tuesday. Wednesday, you start playing the double elimination games. So
right.
Yep. So you have the everybody that's the bottom 2 or the bottom 4 teams will play each other on Tuesday. You'll have 2 games or whatever from the bottom 4. And then
these fouls that they are calling in this game.
So, and that will be in about 10 weeks. The SEC tournament. That'll be it should be Memorial Day weekend. Will be the SEC tournament for baseball. Yep.
Memorial Day weekend.
It should be that weekend. Yep.
Okay, and it's
the regionals, and then super regionals, and then you get Omaha. So, yep.
Kentucky is about to go down. They're down 5. 26 seconds to go.
Well, I see down 5 with 39.2. So either way.
It's a timeout. So, like I said, they hit 2 3-pointers. They were actually up 1, hit 2 3-pointers to go up 5, and then they had a phantom call on a foul, and they've swapped buckets on free throws in a bucket.
Right.
So they're down 5.
Yeah, he absolutely missed him on this one. That's what it looks like.
I mean, it's just a phantom. Like there's nobody even touched that dude.
Toppin completely missed.
Yeah, I mean, nobody even touched him. They called a foul. Toppin fouled out because of that.
Yeah. I mean, he swatted, but he missed him. But the ref that called it was being blocked out by Toppin.
I mean, they showed a replay of it like 5 times, and like he didn't even touch him.
Yeah. But the ref that called it was blocked out by Toppin, so he can't tell that he did.
And Toppin fouled out.
Yeah, well, the guy made his shot anyway, and then he made his free throws, so he was going to make the shot.
Now I think Cason Wallace just fouled out, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, they just put them out of their misery. They really have not had the season that they should have.
Right.
They really haven't, to be honest with you. This game, Toppin has 2 points. Fouled out. Reeves was 0 for 9 in the first half. I don't know what he wound up with. He sure missed several others. I know that because I've been watching it. I can't tell you exactly how many he's missed, but
yep.
I mean, if you give me a second, I can look up some numbers. I can tell you exactly.
Where are we? Top of the 8th. Yeah. But yeah, so what we got going on? Let's see, Tuesday midweek games for this week. Everybody for baseball. Let's take a look what we have.
Oh my God. Antonio Reeves is 0 of 14. Has 1 point in the game.
That's pretty bad. All right. So Tuesday midweek games, we have some games to watch for Tuesday baseball. Georgia State would be something that's worth watching. Wright State versus Ohio State. Don't know if that one's actually on TV. Doesn't look like it. Let's take a look. Florida State, Florida. Florida at Florida State is on the ACC network Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Lipscomb at Vanderbilt. That will be something that would be worth watching. Maybe for a little bit. Let's see. UAB at Alabama. That one will be good. South Alabama at Auburn. Not on TV.
You talking about Tuesday matchups?
Tuesday matchups, yes.
Who does Kentucky play?
Eastern Kentucky. Dallas Baptist at Oklahoma. That'll be good. That'll be on ESPN Plus. Grand Canyon at Arizona State. Not on TV. Awesome. That should be the last of the decent ones on Tuesday. On Wednesday, some midweek matchups.
Breaking news. Antonio Reeves has hit a shot.
That is breaking. You broke the news.
He's hit a shot, a 3-pointer. He's cut it to 4 with like 6.9 seconds left or
I
something.
think Kansas at Missouri on Wednesday will be a good midweek game. And that's the only one on Wednesday that's worth a darn watching. And then when we start our series on Thursday, looks like Auburn and Georgia will be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, along with Duke, North Carolina. Those will be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then for upcoming, which we will probably talk more in depth about later on this week, the series that would be worth watching upcoming next weekend: Miami at Wake Forest, Florida State at Virginia, Duke at North Carolina. Let's see, Clemson at Georgia Tech, Texas A&M at Tennessee. Let's see, Kentucky at Alabama, Missouri at South Carolina, Georgia at Auburn, Florida at Ole Miss.
Didn't South Carolina lose a game to Clemson? He was talking about them being highly ranked.
The other two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arkansas at LSU. It's a good game to watch. And Arizona plays Arizona State. So those will all be for the series this weekend for baseball. Ones to watch.
Yep. Kansas State is going to finish this off. They're going to the line with 3.9 to go.
Mm-hmm.
He just hit the first one. They're up 5. So this is
matter
it.
if it's the second one.
No, I mean this is it. This is 3.9. They're down 6. You can't win a game like that.
No.
That's it. 75-69. Kansas State beats Kentucky in the NCAA second round. And you can't go 1 for 15. And your top scorer on the team can't have 5 points. He did hit 2 free throws and a 3. Finally, at the very end, inside the last 15 seconds of the game,
right?
Your leading scorer can't play like that. Toppin, who is the third leading scorer, had 2 points in this game as well. Sheboy had 25 points and 18 rebounds to more than likely end his career at Kentucky. He does have the option, I think, to come back for that 5th year, but I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he passed it up last year. Probably could have got drafted in the second round last year. He will not go much higher than that. He'll be a second rounder this year, but he'll probably go make money, I would think. I mean, you can make money in college now with the NIL stuff. So, is there a small chance or outside possibility? I think so. Oddly enough, this Kentucky team had about 4 or 5 seniors on it, and I believe that all of them have the opportunity to take that 5th year.
Right.
Even Antonio Reeves. I'm pretty sure he played 3 years at like Illinois State or something like that's where he was, and then transferred this 1 year, and I think even he has a chance to take that 5th year, COVID year. CJ Fredericks is technically a senior, but he really has a shot at 2 years because he has a year. He missed all of last year for injury, so he can, get that for a injury red shirt, and then he could do a fifth year of playing with the COVID extra year as well. But I think, Wheeler could do it. I think Wheeler will do it. I think he'll transfer and do it and be a grad transfer.
Right.
That's my guess. Severe Wheeler will probably transfer and go somewhere else and play one more year as a grad transfer. That would be my guess on him. Jacob Toppin had played well enough lately that is there a chance that somebody might take him in the second round or something? I think there maybe is. But I also think there's a chance that he might come back. I don't know, and take that extra year.
Yeah.
I'm not real sure yet. Season just ended. So, but again, Oscar Tshiebwe ends his career with 25 points and 18 rebounds at Kentucky. I'm going to say ends his career because I fully believe that he probably played his last game at Kentucky. Kentucky finishes 22-12 this year. Did not have the season that they were preseason number 4 in the country. Did not have the year that all Kentucky fans thought they would have, even the media,
right?
Preseason number 4, everybody thought they were going to be better than they were.
Right.
They didn't quite fall down to what North Carolina did. They didn't even make the tournament. So, they did make it to the second round and stuff. So, but,
right.
It's not good enough for Kentucky fans, just to be honest with you. It's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for Kentucky fans. They should not be – this team should have been better. They should not be getting knocked out in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That's just how all Kentucky fans are going to feel. So,
right. Yep.
Expect to hear some negative stuff towards Calipari and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do that. I think Calipari's earned, his stature in the game and stature at Kentucky, and there comes a point in time where I think the university does have to look at.
Oh no, he has gone frozen. So now that I've recognized that he has gone frozen, I'm going to take this time to tell everybody that they should just let it go. If you let it go, you can let it go. It'll be great. You can be one with the wind and sky. So Brad is taking a short time out as being the host of this show. He is frozen. And I think that's signs of the apocalypse. I believe that his team went ice cold as well, and he did the same thing. So with that, I will go ahead and talk to you about a few of our things that we have. We've got home for our troops. Yep, there we go. Brad's back. He is not frozen anymore. He is.
What's really strange is my signal was strong the whole time.
Yeah, well, you froze.
Like the connection down here for my signal said it was strong the entire time, even through all of that.
Yeah, well, now you're on the right side of the screen and not on the left. So, high five.
I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
like seriously, my signal says it was strong, but then I lost connection up here. It says that.
Then you were like this.
Lost connection. I don't know. I'm really not sure what happened. Prize Picks. Yeah. So our Prize Picks, you can go to prizepicks.com do an initial deposit, open you up an account, use the code CSCast, and you can double your money up to $100. It's a daily fantasy sports action. You can go in there and have a little fun. $5, I think, is a minimum. Play up to 30 sports. And if you do $50, you can get $100 to play with. If you do $100, you can get $200 to play with. We just ask that you use the code CSCast. That will help us out, and at the same time, it'll double your money. This week coming up,
yes,
I know that on Tuesday night we are going to have a special guest with us. We're going to have Drew England on with us. He is a high school football coach, and he does a couple of podcasts, actually. He does one called Anything OU. He's a big Oklahoma fan, and he does a podcast with that. And then he also does the under official review. I always have to catch myself and make sure I say it right. The right. Under official review podcast.
Right.
And Of course, it is a football podcast. They do and cover college football mostly, but he also does some NFL coverage and stuff on the Under Official Review podcast as well. There's two guys that do it. Drew is one of them. He's an Oklahoma fan, and then Zach is the other one. And he is an Ohio State fan.
Yep.
And they do a podcast. He's going to be with us on Tuesday night. He will be with us at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night this week. And then as of right now, this week on Thursday and Sunday, we will kind of come back and do Sweet 16 show for you on Thursday. And by Sunday, we will know about 3 of the 4 Final Four teams. There will be one game left to play probably Sunday afternoon when we're on, or it might actually be playing while we're finishing up here. And we will know 3 of the 4 Final Four teams on Sunday. So we will be doing and talking about that. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing this week on Tuesday night with Drew. We're going to talk a little bit of everything. He is an offensive coordinator for a high school football team. He played Division I college baseball and does football podcast, Oklahoma podcast. He's a know-it-all with Oklahoma stuff. Like, what I mean by that is he knows everything about almost all their sports. Their softball team has got a great team, and he knows baseball and softball, and I mean anything OU. That's he can talk about. So we'll get some of his thoughts on Oklahoma coming to the SEC, and maybe his thoughts on their schedule and stuff as well for football, and stuff like that when Drew's on with us Tuesday night.
Yep.
Any update for a reschedule on Landrum, or you haven't?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Big Blue fans. Another year. Hey, they got 1 win in the NCAA tournament. It's more than he had the last 4. I can tell you that. That's what I say. As a university, sometimes you got to look at where you currently are, and the last now 4 seasons have not really been that great since 19 for Kentucky. So. We'll see. I think you're going to hear a lot of things. My closing thoughts are pay attention to what you hear on Kentucky. Don't believe everything you hear, but you can go back and look at the last 4 seasons now, and you get a pretty good look at where things have been. 4 seasons is a long time. There's been well over 100 games played, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. See how many players come back. He does have a great class coming in.
Yep. Well, I think he went cold again. There he is. He's gone. He's gone frozen. So, just gonna say that he's talking about Kentucky and looking at the last 4 years, and that does put a pretty good mark on where the program is, and then I'll close it up with that baseball. It is baseball season. While we are here at the end of basketball season, we have baseball going on. Kentucky looks to be pretty strong right now, just being 3-0 in the SEC. So you have at least that right there going for you. But if he comes back on in the next 4 minutes, we will close and we will then head on out until Tuesday, where we will have Drew England on, as we've talked about. He played at Coastal Carolina for baseball. And as Brad said that he did, he is a high school coach for football and knows a lot of things about Oklahoma. And Brad is back currently, looks like. So we're going to close it up, right?
Yeah, we are. I don't know what's going on. Like I said, my signal strength down here doesn't show that. I don't know what's going on.
Well, we only have like less than 4 minutes. So
yeah. So we will close this up. I do have we're now on WSBN TV and Channel 30. I want you guys to know that. And we will see you guys on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central. And we'll bring you Drew England on College SportsCast.
There you go.
All right. Thanks, guys.